Hello everyone, Ben here and welcome back to the channel. It's the weekend of the Spa 24 hours and I've decided to hop into Assetto Corsa Competizione and run our own version of it. We're going to do the full race but accelerated to just 30 minutes. So we will be racing through the night and then back into daylight to finish off the race. We haven't qualified, we're just hopping into quick race. You can see us there racing as Salikov on the standing screen. We're starting in 11th position. If at any point during the race you find yourself enjoying yourself, leave a like, get subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of the videos we've got coming up, and let me know in the comments if you're going to be checking out the Spa 24 as it runs this weekend. But without any further ado, we're on the grid here for the rolling start, coming down the hill with Eau Rouge just up ahead of us, and we are underway and we make a decent start, but we're just going to take it nice and easy. This is a long race. We're going to just file through Eau Rouge for the first time and make sure we don't make any contact with the cars around us and hope that we get the same in return from them. And it looks like, broadly speaking, we've held position in 11th place as the field just sorts itself out and settles down. No doubt one or two drivers here are going to try and make some opportunistic moves. We might have a go around the outside into the right-hander there. Just make sure we hold it. We've got a car on our outside. You can see that in the radar. We then come to contact just on the inside. Maybe I gave him just too big a squeeze onto the apex. More likely, I think he just got up on the curb on the inside. No real damage done though. He's still running, we're still running, and we live to fight another day. But we have made up one spot then on the opening section of lap 1 here at Spa, and you can already tell with the accelerated time 90 minutes has passed in game time, and the shadows are beginning to lengthen as the sun falls in the sky and we head further into the evening. I'm really looking forward to seeing just how spectacular Assetto Corsa Competizione looks like as we get into the night. But we've got plenty to occupy ourselves ahead of then, as we've closed right up on the back of the driver up ahead of us, and we're going to just follow them through the final part of the lap here and hope that we might get a run into the bus stop chicane, get a nice run onto the back straight. We're going to try and close in, but it looks very congested up ahead, and I don't want to take too many risks in this opening phase of the race. So we're just going to take it nice and easy through the left-hand kink, run it out wide, and then try and switch back to the outside of the track. Another driver trying to do that at the same time as us up ahead. We're going to come, just roll the car in to the bus stop. We're side by side now with a car on our outside, so we've got to keep it nice and narrow. That compromises our exit, and he is able to power out of the corner far better than we did. And we've got Van der Linde now behind us looking to make a pass on our inside in the Audi. He's right away alongside us, but he thinks better of it, and we get a decent exit from the first corner. But actually he's having another go, and he is side by side with us on the straight down the hill towards Eau Rouge, and it looks actually as if Van der Linde has got that place back, and he has. We're going to have to tuck in behind him as we come up Eau Rouge and into Radion, and actually all of that has just got us a little bit flustered, and we had a very poor line through Eau Rouge. We don't get a slowdown penalty, but we do now have company from behind in the form of Vavish, who is closing in on us as well in the Audi. So we're going to have to get our braking right here into the right-hander at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and we managed to do that and just keep him at bay. So we've got to consolidate a little bit here. The place that we gained on the opening lap, we've lost back to Van der Linde. We just need to settle down a bit, get some rhythm as the sun setting is again changing the light beautifully on Spa here in Assetto Corsa Competizione. So we're coming around then the corner with No Name. We've closed right the way back up on Kevin Van der Linde. We're going to get a chance surely later on in this lap, unless he picks his pace up. We're nearly blinded by the setting sun there as we come around Pouon, and we're just going to run it out wide because we've got more speed than perhaps we intended. We're going to dive to the inside, try and get this move done early, and we've managed to make it happen. By the looks of things, he's going to try and hang it around the outside, but there's just no way he's going to be able to make that work. And so we have reclaimed 10th position, having lost it at the beginning of this lap. And now it's all about eyes forward again. Try not to make any mistakes, but close up on the back of 9th and 8th place here, who are fighting with each other. First up the road is Mies, and then we've got Bortolotti just up ahead of him in the Lamborghini. We're going to come alongside the Audi here then, try and get wheel to wheel, but we can't do it. Not on the inside, not safely, so we have to pull out of it and then just let the car roll through the kink, and then try and think about getting our braking right into the chicane. I don't really want to risk it though, as they're going side by side with one another. Brilliant action here between the drivers up ahead, and that is pushing us back again into Van der Linde, so I've got to be a little bit careful here. If I don't make progress, then it looks like we're going to have challenges from behind as well. Going to dive to the inside then with that in mind into the first corner. A little bit of an accidental dive bomb there. I just got on the brakes a little bit later than the car up ahead, who I think had to get on the brakes a little bit unexpectedly because of a bit of congestion up ahead of him, and we had to take to the inside, and thankfully we were able to make that work, and we've gained another spot and up now into 9th position as we get our lights turned on and we head into night time here in Spa. So it's great to be back on Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's been a little while since I did any running on the sim. I haven't done any practice for this whatsoever, but it just felt very natural hopping back in. Really nice to control the cars. We're not going to be setting any lightning pace here. The AI I think is on around 90, maybe 93. So it's much more about the experience and the immersion of emulating the Spa 24-hour race that's taking place this weekend in sim, and that's what's fantastic about Competizione. It's a title in which you can do that and really easily as well, that you can just hop in to this sort of immersive experience. As you can really see now, we're heading into the dark of night. 10:30 in game time, so the next few laps are going to be in the pitch dark. We have a little think about moving down the right hand side of Bortolotti up ahead of us, but we think again about it because we just knew that space was going to disappear as he closed in on the apex. Lots of cars up ahead though that we've got in our sights. It looks like all the way up to Collard in 6th place could be within our grasp, and that's the kind of immediate aim really in the first part of this race. Can we get up into the top 6? Well, one more place is going to come our way as we've got a brilliant exit and we're able to get alongside and past Bortolotti before we even get into any of the braking zones coming up, and we're going to actually close in on the pack with 2 or 3 cars up ahead of us. We think about having a go down the inside on Marciello up ahead in the AMG, but we just think again and tuck in behind him and follow him through the chicane. We've got plenty more laps in this race, probably another 10 I think, if my estimations are correct, maybe 11 before the end of the race. We've got plenty of time. We've just set our personal fastest lap of the race so far. You'd expect that at this stage of the race, and we've got it all to build on here. A decent finish well within our grasp as we come down the hill and head towards Eau Rouge once again. We get a nice run then up the hill, and actually we've got a decent run on the 2 cars up ahead of us straight away as well, and they might start battling too. Marciello and Collard separated by only half a second, and it looks like Marciello is just positioning his car to potentially have a look down the inside, but he hasn't got close enough to risk that. We go slightly deep into the corner. That's going to compromise us a little bit through it, but we get a decent exit. We're just sawing a little bit at the wheel to try and get the car to bite. We get a decent run through the second part of the corner then, and we're able to just roll the car through the hairpin. We're gaining on the car through that corner. We're much faster than the AMG up ahead through the hairpin, and so that might give us a chance coming down the hill again into Pouhon. Risky place to attempt to move. You know the car is going to turn in on you unless you're right the way alongside into the smallest of braking zones that exists into the corner. We didn't go alongside, but we are going to get a good exit, and we're going to try and shape to the outside here. He's going to cover that off, so we're going to go down the inside. Brilliant move into the right hander. We are well clear now of the Mercedes behind us, and that is us up into 7th position. Really pleased with that move. It was quite a nice little bit of racing. He covered us off to the outside, so we switched back got onto the inside line and then broke later than he did, and that's us up into 7th place. And immediately we're onto the rear wing of Collard in the Aston Martin. We're going to try and get down his outside, but he's going to close that off, nearly pushing us out onto the grass. Thankfully, we were able to just get out of it early enough so that we didn't get too far off the track there. It could have caused quite a big accident, but robust defence. It's fair enough, I suppose. We weren't alongside. I just thought he was going to leave us a gap down the outside, but in the end he didn't, as we come around the final corner to end another lap here, and we are up to 7th position as we do, and just about hitting 1:30 a.m. In the middle of the night. So not quite half race distance yet, but about a third of the way into this race, and I've got my eyes squarely on getting up into 6th position as quickly as we can, and then I've got to set about closing the gaps that have opened up to the top 5. Into Eau Rouge again then, just feather the throttle. I'm getting better at it as we go with every lap that passes, and we've got our best exit yet onto the Kemmel Straight. We're probably not going to be close enough to do anything with Collard down into the next corner, but we're going to close up all the way down the straight, get on the brakes as late as we can but without being silly about it, and just follow him through this section of corners, because really our opportunity is likely to come later in the lap now. Very difficult amount to pass through the middle section here at Spa. It's likely to be in Sector 1 or in Sector 3. I wasn't really sure what to expect when it comes to tyre wear, tyre temperatures, tyre pressures hopping into the game. I assume because it's a quick race, as we're shaping up a move here on Collard down into Pouin, but we just really feinting to the inside more than anything, not really intending to make a pass. But as I was saying, I was pretty sure that because it was a quick race, it would just be essentially a sprint to the end. We just get closed off as we looked around the outside. Collard really means business here. That's the second time in the space of a lap and a half that he has closed us off as we were looking to get alongside him. He would definitely not one to mess with. Really quite important now, I think, that I get this move done, because he's slowing us up, and I'm also a little bit worried about going wheel to wheel with him, because he's definitely not taking any prisoners. We've got a really good overspeed out of that corner, then we're going to be alongside and we're going to power past him. Maybe he's giving us this position because he knows that defence was a little bit out of order. It was definitely on the robust side of things. So as I was saying then, I'm not anticipating that we're going to have to make a pit stop in this race, nor that we'll be tyre limited by the end of the race. I think it should be relatively comfortable to get to the end on those two measures. So it's not quite the full 24-hour experience squished into 30 minutes, but it's a decent enough approximation of it for me. So 6th position, we are shortly going to be halfway through this race, and we've got a gap of 4 seconds up to Haas and then 5 seconds up to Stolz, who's battling with Muller in 3rd place, just half a second up the road from him. We take just too much speed through Radeon there. That's going to get us out of shape and get a slower exit onto the Kemmel Straight. We don't get a warning on track limits, but it must have been close. And we do, if you look at the graphic in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, have cold brakes at this stage of the race. They do heat up once we get into the hard braking zone at the end of the Kemmel Straight, but that is where some of the temperature management is going to have to come into play. There's a little bit of blue showing at the tops of the tyres graphics there, but I don't think it's anything too significant to worry about, so I can keep pushing on the car basically without being too frightened that I'm just going to lose control or it's going to do something unpredictable as a result of shifting temperatures. Already you can see that the sun is starting to come up. We're nearly at 5 a.m. The sky is beginning to get just a little bit lighter. Within the next couple of minutes we're going to be back into daylight and into the second half of this race. So as we're coming around the right and then the left, we've closed the gap up to Haas to around 2.6 seconds. We are well up on our quickest time of the race so far. We're good second and a half up on our previous best. So I am expecting to set a new personal best, probably a new fastest lap of the race, as well as we're making big gains on the two cars up ahead, who are fighting very closely now, Haas and Stolz. Stolz has dropped back from Muller and is now in a real fight with just a tenth of a second between the two cars up ahead. There might be a move coming into the chicane. Yes, Haas shapes late, he's down the inside, he's going to be side by side. That doesn't mean the move is done though. Every chance that Stolz is going to defend this. They're side by side coming out onto the Grand Prix start finish straight, and one imagines this battle is going to rage into T1 as well, and it is. They're still side by side. It does look though as if Haas has the high ground and will be taking the position from Stolz, and that he is now going to be our next target on track. As we're definitely now into dawn and full daylight will be coming very, very soon, so we're going to have to try and reel in this battling pair now up ahead. The fact that they're fighting will make it that bit easier for us. Look at this, Stolz looking to fight back again. I've got to say I'm really impressed with the AI here on Assetto Corsa Competizione. Really nice to see battles between the other drivers, as well as some stout defences against us as we've gone through this race so far. We've closed right in on the back of the AMG then as we went through those couple of corners there. Again, we're almost pushing him out of the hairpin. We're going to try and take a nice wide entry into the corner with no name. That's going to give us a better exit than the Mercedes up ahead. This time I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and get down the inside of Pouon. Yeah, we're going to brake later, take the apex. He gets way out of it, doesn't seek to challenge us, and we've bullied our way past there really into fifth position. That's brilliant, and lots of time left in this race to make up further positions. But look at that, we lose it into the right-hander, going down into second gear, and we just felt the car go, had to get out of it and then take a trip along the grass, and that has meant we've dropped back into sixth place just as quickly as we gained fifth place. We've lost it, and we've got all that work to do again. It doesn't feel like the car is damaged. We do have dirty tyres, which we'll need to just scrub off before we push too hard again. The sun then streaming through the forest here, absolutely gorgeous as we head into the second half of this race. We're gaining again on Stolz straight away, and I really do now want to get this move done as quickly as we can, because you know this is a longer race, but we are getting towards the sharp end, and if I'm going to make it up maybe onto the podium, then I'm going to have to get my skates on. We're going to come across then the start finish line. No fastest lap this time, as we lost a good 2.5 seconds because of that mistake and that excursion across the grass. But we've got a nice run through the first corner, a tenth or so up on our previous best already, and we're going to head down into Eau Rouge and try and get on the back of Stolz again and get this move done in the first half of this coming lap. Get up on the curb slightly though, and that unsettles the car, and we bounce across the second curb at the top of the hill. So that's cost us a bit of time actually, and we might just have to sit tight a little bit longer behind Stolz before we can get the move done. Heavy on the brakes then, down into third gear, then into second gear for the second apex. Sometimes we pop it back up into third nice and early. I'm just going to roll the car through this time in second to try and not overly push it through the corner, as I'm just settling back down again after a bit of a scruffy half a lap or so, and then we've already closed right onto the rear wing of Stolz then. We don't take as wide a line through the corner with no name this time. That's going to cost us a little bit in trying to get alongside him into Pouon. This time we're going to have to think better of it and just follow him through the corner and try and aim for a pass into the corner where we made the mistake just on the last lap. We've got huge overspeed though. We're going to try it to the outside. He blocks us off as well, just as Collard had a few laps ago. He squeezes us out on the outside too. Fair play. No easy way through there. We're going to again show to the outside, but we're really just opening up the next apex for ourselves to get a decent exit onto the back straight. It looks as if Stoltz has too, but he gets on the brakes just mid-corner there. A little touch of the brakes, as he clearly was a little bit out of shape. That's enough to give us the impetus to get by on the inside, which will become the outside into the next kink. But we should have the speed we need in order to maintain this position heading into the next braking zone at the chicane. So, job done then, and now eyes forward to Haas, who is in 4th position and just a second and a half up the road, with 10 minutes of actual time left in this race, a good few hours left in game time. But we are now right in the hunt for those podium positions. 5 seconds separates us from Muller. So we've got the chance of catching him up, I think. Now we're in a little bit of clear air. I've got to make that count, and I have to dispatch Haas as quickly as I can. And if we're able to do that, then maybe in the last lap or two we'll have a chance to get by Muller as well. I think the top 2 are just going to be too far down the road for us. That's not going to happen. But a podium finish from 11th on the grid would be just lovely, I think, and cap off what has been a brilliantly immersive experience trying to emulate the Spa 24 hours. So we've already, it feels like we're closing in on the car up ahead quite nicely at this stage. We've taken a few tenths off him as we've come through the first part of the lap, but it really feels like it's in this middle section that we're able to put pressure on the other drivers. We're half a second up on this lap on our previous best, so the time really is coming towards us, and we've got the gap down now to a second on the car up ahead, and we've got a brilliant exit from Pouan as well. We're going to get as late on the brakes as we can, down into 3rd gear here, not into 2nd as we did a couple of laps ago, to our cost. And look at that, we've got the gap now down to around half a second. We're flying in this stage of the Grand Prix. Run it a little bit too wide there, we missed the apex, but that hasn't cost us too much time, and we're able now to get out onto the back straight. We ran wide though, that's a bit of a shame. Not the best exit, so we're going to have to probably just tuck in behind Haas here. I'm not sure we're going to get alongside into the braking zone of the chicane, because we're going to catch him just at this kink, so we just have to ease off slightly. We do get a quicker line through there. We're going to shape to the outside, think about the inside, but actually he's quite late on the brakes too, so we don't want to go side by side under those circumstances, because we'd almost certainly make contact when we don't need to. Not with 8 minutes of this race still left, and we've got plenty of signs for optimism here as we set another fastest lap of the session so far. The gap to Muller is down now to 3.5 seconds, so actually we're both catching Muller at this rate, and it may very well be that it's a 3-way battle for 3rd place by the time we get to the end of this session. Through Eau Rouge once again then, he's dabbing the brakes through the middle of the corner. That's definitely going to slow him down as we get onto the Kemmel Straight once again. Fans lining the track on the left hand side. If they've been out all night, fair play to them. As we come then into the braking zone at the end of the Kemmel Straight once again. No real chance of closing up on Haas here. We're a good few tenths up again, and look at that, that's what happens there when you try to push just a little bit too hard. You end up fighting with oversteer and nearly ruining all of your good work. So despite the fact it feels like we've got really good pace compared to earlier in the race, I mustn't push too hard. Otherwise we'll lose all of the positions we've gained so far in the race. And we've got one more here that looks like it's going to come our way quite soon if I'm able to line up a pass on Haas in the next few corners. We've closed right in. He's just 0.3 of a second up the road from us. We've got lots of overspeed into this corner. I really thought about chucking one down the inside there, but it was just a little bit too marginal. I could have done with being 1/10 of a second closer, and then I think I would have been able to shape to the inside, and he wouldn't have had much of a chance to do anything about it. As it is, we stuck behind him. We're coming around to end another lap here. We get a better exit though onto the back straight, and I might have the speed to get alongside him then before the chicane. We're closing in on him big time here, but it's going to be really difficult. He's going to close off my route down the inside there, so we have to get out of it, and actually he's going to pull away from us through the first part then of the straight. We're going to get heavy on the brakes, try and think about getting alongside him there, but we're just not able to do it. He's late enough on the brakes to defend. So this is taking us a little bit longer than I'd hoped it would. The upside is we are still both closing in on Muller. We're running at least 3/4 of a second quicker than he is, both myself and Haas. So it's not as if he's getting away from us as we're getting held up behind Haas. Actually, we're both really narrowing the gap to him and the podium positions as we fight with one another. So that at least is a consolation, that the podium is not out of the question. But hopefully on this lap we will be able to finally make the pass and get up ourselves into 4th position. Little warning there on the right hand side of the screen around track limits, but no time gain, so no time penalty as we come again into the right-hander. Snake the car through, just judge when to get fully on the throttle again so you don't understeer off into the gravel on the left hand side, but use all of the runoff area that you can. Then down on the brakes just before the curbing on the left hand side starts, down into second gear, full steering lock, and then open up the steering on the exit. Nice wide entry into the corner with no name, and all of that section has allowed us to close right in on the back of Haas, and the gap up to Muller now is just 2 seconds. So if we get this neat and tidy through Pouhon and into the next couple of corners, not only can we get past Haas, but we should be straight on the back of Muller as well. We've got a nice run here. We're going to go aggressive to the inside. We're going to try and get down the inside, but we can't get it done. Once again, Haas just is too quick for us into that corner. It's about the 2nd or 3rd time I've tried to move down there. It's worked on other drivers, but actually our pace is just that bit better matched, and although I think I am quicker, I'm not quick enough through that part of the track to affect a move. We might be here though, because we've got a very good overspeed out of that corner. I'm going to shape to the inside. I'm going to try and keep my foot in, but again he's come across our line, just taking the racing line. In fairness, he doesn't have to let us through there, but it's brilliant to see that there is no gimme positions here from the other drivers in this race, as we've got now just 3 minutes left on the race clock for us to get as many more positions as we can. It might be that we have to settle for 5th position at this rate, because it's proving much more difficult, despite setting fastest laps of the race, to get past Haas here than I thought it would. He's bang on that pace as well. So there's nothing easy about this as we come through into what will probably be the penultimate lap of the race. So time to get our skates on if we can as we come into Eau Rouge. Once again, it looks like we've got a much better run through the corner this time than Haas did. Muller still 2 seconds up the road from us, so if we're going to get that move done, it's going to be right towards the end of the race. Hard on the brakes then, into the right-hander. We close right up on the rear wing of Haas up ahead. Not close enough though to get alongside, so again we're just going to have to settle in, try and keep the pressure on, try and force a bit of a mistake perhaps coming in towards the final lap and a half of the race. Get a nice run through the hairpin. We've closed right in on the rear wing, and again if we can just maintain that through this corner, take that wide entry line. He's got a little bit squiffy on the inside curb there. We're going to get alongside him, and we're going to hopefully have the run down into Pouhon. We're going to be brave on the brakes here, and yes, we frightened him off on the inside of the corner. He didn't fancy running too wide through the corner, and I don't blame him. And that then is us up into 4th position finally, after one hell of a fight over a number of laps there with Haas. And immediately, just as I predicted, we are now closing in on Muller up ahead. He's now within a second, as we just have to correct our steering there as we took a bit too much speed, getting a little bit carried away into the right-hander there. But what an exit we've got onto the back straight here as we're closing in on Muller. It's less than a second now. It's going to be half a second as we get through the left-hand kinks here. We're going to close all the way in here towards the chicane, and given we haven't got very long left in this race, I'm going to try and make a move here down the inside into the chicane if we can. We're going to get on the brakes later. We're down cleanly on the inside, take the apex very, very nicely indeed. But look at that, he's held it on the inside, and oh my days, he's spun us round. He's spun us round. Oh, we get another bit of contact as we're trying to get off the racing line. And I really don't think he had the right to keep his nose in there on the inside. Surely the better course of action was to concede that the move was done. Looking at the radar as we went through that corner, he was still a little bit alongside, but the cars are just going to come together unless I go off the track, unless he gets out of it there. And I was definitely 3/4 of the way past at least, and would have taken the position completely cleanly if he had just not driven into the side of us there, it felt to me. I mean, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh and I should have given him a little bit more room on the inside perhaps, but I just thought the move was done. And with one lap of the race left to go, the leader is on the final lap, which means we're on the final lap. We've fallen all the way down to 9th position. We're going to try and get Bortolotti back in the Lamborghini into the right-hander at the end of the Kemmel Straight here, but we get in too deep. The car's got damage. It's actually really difficult to handle, and we've just managed to get back on track. I'm going to try and let him through here, but he doesn't seem to want to take the position. He must have thought we were going to hang it round the outside there. I'm not going to keep this position. I'm going to give it to him back. We don't have any chance of making any further positions, so I'm not going to have our final overtake of what has been quite a long race be one which I essentially took off the track. So once we come through this corner, I'm going to get off the gas, let him back through, and then give myself another half a lap in what is now a damaged car to try and get back past him. What a shame that that's happened. We were fighting for the podium positions. Maybe I was just a little bit too keen, but it had taken me so long to get past Haas. As we dive to the inside then, we're going to make this move count on Bortolotti. At least that's a little bit of a consolation to get up into 8th position. He's going to try and get us back or hang it round the inside there, but he wasn't able to do it. We close off the apex of the next corner, but it could have been so much better. And as I say, it had taken so long to get up into 4th. I was in a bit of a hurry with just one more lap to go to get that move done. Maybe I was too eager. Let me know in the comments if you think I should have just given it a little bit more time and looked to make the move on the final lap of the race instead. But the leader's finished. There's fireworks going off in the sky, so we now have just got the chicane to navigate one more time on the brakes nice and early, because as I say, the car doesn't feel great now as we feel the effects of those impacts, and then across the start finish line for one last time to finish our own Spa 24 hours in 30 minutes. Despite that end, really enjoyable. It would have been great to bring home a podium, but it doesn't matter really. I was just in it for the sense of immersion, driving through the night in these GT3 cars at Spa. Just thoroughly enjoyable. Great experience with the AI as well, notwithstanding we came together with one towards the end. Very enjoyable. Good racing can be had. So let's take a little look then at the classified positions. You'll see where we came. We were at least the lead Ferrari on the grid. Vanthoor takes the win in the Audi, and we have to settle for 8th spot ahead of the 2 Lamborghinis of Bortolotti and Keane. I'm going to leave you then with some highlights from the race. It's not an in-depth analysis, there's just too much to go into for that, but it does show off just how stunning the game is visually and how close some of the racing was in that session. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed to the channel. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more Assetto Corsa Competizione on the channel, and I will see you next time.